The space station floated in the dark between stars like a metal flower. New Geneva was the biggest station humans had ever built. Today it would host the most important meeting in human history. Captain Lee Dae-ho stood on the main deck and watched the alien ship approach. The ship looked like a giant crystal that had been carved by master artists. It moved without sound through the empty space. Inside that ship were beings from 12 different worlds. They had come to decide if humans could join their group. Lee wore his best uniform. The blue fabric was clean and pressed. His metals caught the light from the viewing window. He had fought in 3 wars to protect Earth. Now he faced something harder than any battle. He had to help his species make friends with aliens. "Captain, they are asking permission to dock," said Commander Kim Taemin. Kim was young but smart. His black hair was cut short in military style. He had studied alien languages for 5 years to prepare for this day. "Tell them yes," Lee said, "and remind all crew to follow first contact rules. No sudden moves. No loud sounds. Be polite." Dr. Park So-young walked onto the deck. She was the team leader for talks with aliens. Her long hair was tied back in a simple style. She wore a white coat over her dark suit. In her hands, she carried a small bag with medical tools and translation devices. "Are you ready for this?" Lee asked her. So-young smiled, but Lee could see worry in her eyes. "I have been ready for 20 years. Ever since I was a child, I dreamed of meeting beings from other worlds. Today, that dream comes true." The alien ship connected to the station with a soft sound. Airlocks opened. Then the aliens came through. The first alien was tall and thin. Its skin looked like blue glass. It had 4 arms and moved like water flowing. Behind it came other aliens. Some looked like giant insects. Others had fur and walked on 6 legs. One alien floated in the air inside a bubble of green light. But the most beautiful alien came last. It looked almost human, but its skin was made of crystal that changed colors. It had no hair. Instead, thin tentacles grew from its head. The tentacles moved slowly, like sea plants in a gentle current. This alien was Velnara. "Welcome to New Geneva Station," Lee said. He bowed the way he had practiced. The blue glass alien spoke first. Its voice came from a small device on its chest. "I am Ambassador Thekvar of the Unity Worlds. We come in peace to learn about your species." "We are honored," Dr. Park So-young said. She stepped forward. "I am Dr. Park So-young. I speak for humanity today." Velnara moved closer. When it walked, small sounds like wind chimes came from its crystal skin. "I am Velnara of the Psionic Collective. I will perform the mind touch ritual." Dr. Choi Haewon joined the group. She was a brain scientist. Her job was to watch what happened when the alien touched a human mind. She carried instruments to measure brain activity. Her hands shook a little as she set up her tools. "The ritual is simple," Velnara said. Its voice was soft and musical. "I touch your mind for a few seconds. I learn how your people think and feel. Every species that joins our group goes through this test. It helps us understand each other." Ambassador Thekvar nodded. "In 10,000 years, we have tested over 300 species. The mind touch shows us if a species can live in peace with others. It shows us if they are ready for the greater galaxy." So-young looked at her team. Commander Kim gave her a thumbs-up sign. Dr. Choi turned on her brain scanners. Captain Lee stood straight and proud. "I am ready," So-young said. The other aliens formed a circle around them. Some held recording devices. Others just watched with their many different kinds of eyes. This was history being made. Velnara raised one of its tentacles. The tip glowed with soft white light. "Please do not be afraid. You will feel a gentle pressure in your mind. Some humans might see colors or hear sounds. This is normal. The touch lasts only moments." So-young closed her eyes and tried to relax. She thought about her training. Years of meditation had taught her to keep her mind calm. She thought about her family on Earth. She thought about all the humans counting on her to make this work. "I will begin now," Velnara said. The crystal tentacle touched So-young's forehead. At first, nothing happened. So-young felt only the cool touch of the alien's skin. Dr. Choi watched her brain scanners. The readings looked normal. Then something changed. Velnara's crystal skin began to flash with bright colors. Red, blue, yellow, purple. The colors moved faster and faster. The alien's large eyes grew wide. Its other tentacles began to shake. "What is happening?" Dr. Choi asked. Velnara made a sound. It was not a word. It was a cry of fear and pain. The alien tried to pull its tentacle away from So-young's head, but it could not move. It was stuck somehow. The other aliens moved closer. They began speaking in their own languages. The translation devices could not keep up. Words like impossible and danger filled the air. Velnara cried out again. This time, the sound was so terrible that Commander Kim covered his ears. The alien's crystal skin turned black. Cracks appeared across its surface. "Help it!" So Young shouted. She grabbed the alien's tentacle and tried to pull it away from her head. Then Velnara screamed. The sound echoed through the station. Emergency lights began flashing. Alarms rang out. The alien's body began to shake violently. Its legs gave out and it fell to the floor, but the tentacle was still touching So Young's forehead. She could not move. Her eyes rolled back. Her body went stiff. Dr. Choi ran to help. She used her hands to break the connection between human and alien. As soon as the touch was broken, both So Young and Velnara collapsed. The other aliens rushed to help Velnara. They spoke quickly in scared voices. Ambassador Thekvar's blue skin turned pale. The floating alien's green bubble began to flicker. Captain Lee knelt beside So Young. She was breathing, but her eyes were closed. "Get medical teams here now," he ordered. Dr. Choi checked her instruments. So Young's brain activity is off the charts. I have never seen readings like this. Commander Kim helped alien medics carry Velnara to a medical room. The crystal alien was unconscious. Its skin had turned completely black. Small pieces were falling off like dead leaves. "What went wrong?" Lee demanded. Ambassador Thekvar shook his head. "This has never happened before. Never in 10,000 years. The mind touch is supposed to be safe. Gentle, easy." "But what did the alien see in her mind?" Dr. Choi asked. "I do not know," Thekvar said. "But whatever it was, it broke our best telepath." In the medical room, both So Young and Velnara lay unconscious. Human and alien doctors worked side by side, but neither understood what had happened. Outside, 12 alien ships waited for answers. Earth's first contact with the galaxy had gone terribly wrong. But no one yet understood why. They did not know that human minds were different from every other mind in the known universe. They did not know that humans carried something inside their thoughts that could break a telepath's mind, just by being touched. Soon, they would learn the truth about what made humans special. And that truth would change everything. 3 days passed before anyone got answers. Dr. Yoon Ji-ho had not slept since the accident. As the station's chief medical officer, he felt responsible for both patients. The human and alien medical teams worked together, but it was hard. Alien medicine was very different from human medicine. So Young woke up first. She opened her eyes and looked around the white medical room. Machines beeped softly around her bed. Tubes ran from her arms to bags of clear liquid. "How do you feel?" Dr. Yoon asked. He sat in a chair next to her bed. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. "Strange," So Young said. Her voice was weak. "I remember the touch. Then, nothing. How long was I unconscious?" 3 days. Your brain activity was very high at first. Then it became very low. We were worried you might not wake up. So Young tried to sit up, but Dr. Yoon gently pushed her back down. "The alien, Velnara, is it okay?" Dr. Yoon's face became sad. "Still unconscious. The alien doctors say its mind is broken. They have never seen anything like it." Captain Lee entered the room. He looked tired and worried. Behind him came Commander Kim and Dr. Choi. All of them had been waiting for So Young to wake up. "The aliens are scared," Lee said. "Some of them want to leave. They think humans are dangerous." "Dangerous?" So Young asked. "But I did nothing wrong. I just let the alien touch my mind like it asked." Dr. Choi sat on the edge of the bed. She held a small device that showed brain scans. "We recorded everything that happened. Your brain patterns during the touch were unlike anything we have ever seen. It was like your mind exploded with activity." "What kind of activity?" So Young asked. "Every part of your brain started working at once. Memory, imagination, emotion, logic, dreams. Everything fired at the same time. Normal brains do not do that." Commander Kim stepped closer. "The alien diplomats are meeting without us. They are deciding whether to end contact with humanity. Ambassador Thekvar says we might be too dangerous for the galaxy." So Young felt tears in her eyes. "I ruined everything. I was supposed to help humans join the galactic community. Instead, I scared them away. "This is not your fault," Dr. Yoon said. "You could not have known this would happen." A soft sound came from the next room. It was like wind chimes, but sadder. Velnara was waking up. Dr. Yoon rushed to the other room. The others followed. Velnara lay on a special bed made for its crystal body. The alien's skin was still black, but some color was returning. Its tentacles moved slowly. "Velnara," Dr. Yoon said softly. "Can you hear me?" The alien's large eyes opened. They looked around the room with fear. When Velnara saw the humans, it tried to move away. "Please do not be afraid," So Young said. "We want to help." Velnara made sounds in its own language. The translation device on the wall worked slowly to change the words to English. "Darkness," the device said. "Endless hunger. The weight of eternity. Alone. So alone." Ambassador Thekvar entered the room. Behind him came other alien diplomats. They looked worried and confused. "Velnara," Thekvar said in his own language. Then he switched to English. "Tell us what happened. What did you see in the human mind?" Velnara's tentacles shook. It spoke slowly, with many pauses. "I touched the edge of something vast and terrible. The human mind. It contains multitudes. Civilizations that never were. Dreams that span millennia. Stories within stories within stories." The alien diplomats looked at each other with confusion. Dr. Choi wrote down every word. But beneath it all, Velnara continued. "Such profound loneliness, such desperate clawing need to not be alone in the darkness. I do not understand," said Ambassador Thekvar. "When we touch the minds of other species, we find simple thoughts. Hunger, safety, family, territory, basic needs and simple goals. What you describe sounds impossible." Dr. Choi stepped forward. "May I ask Velnara some questions?" Thekvar nodded. "Velnara, when you touch other alien minds, what do you normally see?" The crystal alien's color slowly changed from black to dark blue. Clear thoughts, direct purposes, a mind focused on one thing at a time. It is like looking into a calm pool of water, easy to understand. "And when you touched my mind?" So Young asked. Velnara's skin flashed red with fear. Like falling into an ocean during a storm, waves everywhere, currents pulling in all directions, and in the depths, things moving, things too big to understand. I tried to pull back, but there was too much story, too much meaning, too much pain. Captain Ho Sung-min arrived on the station that afternoon. He commanded the research ship Curiosity and brought a team of scientists who studied how minds work. The aliens agreed to let him examine Velnara's memories. Using alien technology, the scientists could see what Velnara had experienced during the mind touch. They put on special helmets that let them watch like a movie. What they saw amazed them. "Look at this," Dr. Choi said to the group. On a screen, they could see patterns that represented So Young's thoughts during the touch. Most alien minds show simple lines, straight paths from thought to thought. She pointed to So Young's pattern. "But look at this. It is like a spider web. Every thought connects to 10 other thoughts. Every memory links to emotions, which link to imagination, which link to fears, which link to hopes." Dr. Lim Young-soo joined the team by video call from Earth. He was an expert on how human minds work. "This explains so much about human behavior," he said. "We do not just think, we exist within stories. Every human carries multiple versions of themselves in their mind." "What do you mean?" Ambassador Thekvar asked. "A human thinks about who they are now, who they were, who they might become, who they fear they are, who they wish they were, all at the same time. We live in past, present, and future simultaneously." Velnara listened from its medical bed. "That is what broke me. I expected to find one mind. Instead, I found dozens, maybe hundreds, all in one small human head." Lieutenant Colonel Bae Min-jung had arrived with Captain Ho. She was an expert on military psychology. Humans also carry the stories of our entire species. When we think, we remember tales our grandparents told us, books we read, movies we watched, songs we heard. We are never just ourselves. We are also every story that ever shaped us. The alien diplomats talked among themselves in worried voices. Finally, Ambassador Thekvar spoke to the humans. This presents a problem. If human minds are so complex that they can break our telepaths, how can we safely integrate your species into galactic society? Many of our member species communicate primarily through telepathy. Captain Lee stood up straight. We will not be quarantined or contained just because we think differently. We are willing to work with you, but we will defend our right to exist among the stars. We understand your position, Thekvar said. But you must understand ours. Velnara is our best telepath. If contact with one human mind can cause this much damage, what would happen if our species tried to live together? Dr. Choi had an idea. What if the problem is not that human minds are dangerous, but that alien minds are not prepared for our kind of complexity? Maybe we can find a way to make contact safer. How? Asked Velnara. I do not know yet, but I think we need to understand more about why human minds developed differently. Why are we so complex when other species are simple? Dr. Lim appeared thoughtful on the video screen. I have a theory. Most species in the galaxy may have developed telepathy early in their evolution. When minds can connect directly, there is less need for complex individual consciousness. But humans never developed telepathy. We had to learn to bridge the gap between minds using language, art, stories, and technology. You mean humans became complex because we were alone? Velnara asked. Yes. We had to build elaborate internal worlds because we could not share our thoughts directly. Every human mind became a universe unto itself, trying desperately to connect with other universes. The room became quiet as everyone thought about this idea. Finally, Velnara spoke. Perhaps the loneliness I felt was not a flaw in human design. Perhaps it was the source of your strength. Ambassador Thekvar looked uncertain. Even if that is true, the practical problem remains. How can our species interact safely? Captain Lee smiled for the first time in days. We will figure it out. Humans are good at solving impossible problems. It is what we do. Dr. Lim Young-soo arrived on the station 2 weeks later. He was a small man with gray hair and kind eyes. He had spent his whole life studying how human minds work. The aliens were curious about him because he understood things about consciousness that even they did not know. The problem, Dr. Lim told the mixed group of humans and aliens, is that we are trying to compare two completely different types of minds. It is like comparing fire to water. Both are real, both are important, but they work in opposite ways. He stood in front of a large screen showing brain patterns. Velnara watched from a floating chair designed for its crystal body. The alien was much better now, but still afraid to touch any human minds. When Velnara touched So-Young's mind, what exactly happened? Dr. Lim asked. Dr. Choi pulled up the recordings. At first, everything looked normal. Then suddenly massive activity in all parts of So-Young's brain at once. Memory, imagination, emotion, logic, dreams. Everything started firing together. And for Velnara, its mind was overwhelmed. Like trying to drink from a waterfall. Dr. Lim nodded. I think I understand now. Velnara, when you touch other alien minds, what do you normally find? Simple thoughts, Velnara said. Its voice was still weak. Clear purposes. A mind that thinks one thing at a time. I am hungry. I need safety. I love my family. Direct and clean. And humans. Chaos, beautiful, terrible chaos. When I touched So-Young's mind, she was not thinking one thought. She was thinking dozens. She was remembering her childhood, imagining her future, feeling proud of her species, worrying about failure, loving her family, fearing death, and creating stories about what our meeting might mean, all at the same time. Ambassador Thekvar leaned forward. But how is this possible? How can one mind hold so many thoughts without breaking? Dr. Nam Yoon-ji, a human expert on culture, had joined the team. She was young but very smart. Because human minds are not designed for simplicity. We are designed for story. Let me show you something. She asked the computer to display images of human art. Paintings, sculptures, music, books, movies filled the screen. Every human society creates art. We tell stories about gods, heroes, villains, love, loss, hope, fear. We create imaginary worlds and fill them with imaginary people. Other species in the galaxy do not do this, correct? Ambassador Tekvar shook his head. We create functional things. Tools, buildings, transportation. But art, stories that are not real, this seems wasteful. That is exactly the difference, Dr. Nam said. Human minds do not just process reality. We create multiple realities inside our heads. When So Young was sitting in that chair, part of her mind was experiencing the real moment, but other parts were imagining what might happen. Remembering similar moments from movies she had seen, thinking about stories she would tell her children, and creating meaning from the experience. Velnara's tentacles moved thoughtfully. So when I touched her mind, I was not just touching one person. I was touching all the people she imagines herself to be, plus all the fictional people from all the stories that shaped her. Exactly, Dr. Lim said. Every human exists as multiple selves simultaneously. The person they think they are, the person they fear they might be, the person they hope to become, and pieces of every character from every story that ever moved them. Lieutenant Colonel Bei Min-jung nodded. In military psychology, we call this narrative consciousness. Soldiers do not just follow orders. They imagine themselves as heroes in a story. This makes them braver but also more complex to understand. The alien diplomats talked among themselves in worried voices. Dr. Choi could see they were still scared. But this complexity is not a bug, she said. It is a feature. It is what makes humans so good at solving problems. How? Asked Ambassador Tekvar. Dr. Choi asked the computer to show the history of human technology. Look how fast humans developed. In just 10,000 years, we went from simple farming to space travel. Most species take 100,000 years or more. Why? She pointed to images of human inventors and scientists. Because we can imagine things that do not exist yet. We can ask what-if questions. We can think about problems from multiple angles at once. Our complexity is not chaos. It is a more advanced form of order. Velnara was quiet for a long time. Then it spoke softly. I begin to understand. When I touched So Young's mind, I felt the loneliness. But now I think maybe that loneliness is not sadness. Maybe it is hunger. Hunger to connect, to understand, to grow. Yes, said Dr. Lim. Humans are lonely because we are each our own universe of meaning. But that loneliness drives us to build bridges. Language, art, science, technology. Everything humans create is an attempt to share our inner worlds with others. Captain Lee had been listening quietly. Now he spoke. So what do we do with this knowledge? The galaxy is still afraid of us. Dr. Kang Soo-jin had an idea. She was an expert on how different types of minds work. What if we tried the opposite experiment? Instead of having aliens read human minds, what if we had humans experience alien consciousness? Ambassador Tekvar looked interested. Explain. If human minds are too complex for aliens to handle safely, maybe alien minds are too simple for humans to understand without help. But what if we could find a way for humans to experience the peace and simplicity of alien thought? It might help both sides. Pilot Officer John Hanul volunteered for the experiment. He was young and brave, trained for long space flights where staying calm was important. The aliens had modified their technology to work in reverse. Are you sure about this? Captain Lee asked him. Someone has to try, Hanul said. If this works, it could save the relationship between humans and the galaxy. They put him in a special chair surrounded by alien machines. Velnara would share its memories of simple, peaceful thought instead of trying to read Hanul's complex mind. The experiment began. At first, Hanul smiled. His face became relaxed and calm. This is beautiful, he said. So peaceful. Velnara's mind is like a clear mountain lake. No storms, no confusion, just purpose and harmony. But after a few minutes, Hanul began to look uncomfortable. It is too simple, he said. His voice sounded strained. I keep waiting for depth that is not there. Where are the stories? Where are the dreams? Where is the meaning? Dr. Choi watched his brain patterns. His mind is trying to create complexity where none exists. It is like he is suffocating in simplicity. They ended the experiment quickly. Hanul was shaking when they removed the equipment. I could not breathe, he said. It was beautiful but empty. Like being in a perfect white room with nothing to do, nothing to think about, nothing to become. How do they live like that? Velnara made a sound like sad music. Now I understand what broke me when I touched your mind. You felt too much complexity. I felt too much simplicity. We are opposite problems. Ambassador Thekvar stood up. His blue skin had turned pale. This changes everything. We have spent 10,000 years believing that simple minds were better, peaceful, evolved. But humans show us that complexity can also be a strength. More than that, said Dr. Nam. Humans prove that you can have complexity and still build civilization. We learn to coordinate thousands of individual universes of meaning. We learn to work together despite being fundamentally alone inside our own heads. The room became very quiet. Everyone was thinking about what this meant. Finally, Velnara spoke. For my whole life, I believed that the purpose of consciousness was to find peace and harmony. But humans have found something different. They have found meaning in the struggle itself. Ambassador Ryu Jae-sung, the senior human diplomat, stepped forward. Maybe that is what the galaxy needs. You have achieved peace through simplicity. We have achieved growth through complexity. Together, we might achieve something neither of us could do alone. What do you propose? Ambassador Thekvar asked. A new kind of relationship, not based on making us the same, but on respecting our differences. We will find ways to interact safely. We will learn from each other without trying to change each other. Dr. Choi had been thinking hard. I think I know how to start. We need to build bridges between simple and complex consciousness. Technology that lets us communicate without overwhelming either side. Can this be done? Velnara asked. Humans are very good at building bridges, Captain Lee said with a smile. It is what we do best. We have been building bridges between lonely minds for thousands of years. Now we just need to build bridges between different types of minds. General Kwon Dong-hyun, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. I propose we start small. Careful experiments, structured interactions. We learn to work together step by step. The aliens looked at each other. For the first time since the accident, they seemed hopeful instead of afraid. This will not be easy, Ambassador Thekvar said. Our species have very different ways of thinking. The best things are never easy, Dr. Lim said, but they are always worth doing. 6 months later, the first real breakthrough happened in an art studio. Musician Park Jun-ho sat in a small room filled with strange instruments. Some were human, like his guitar and piano. Others were alien devices that made sounds no human had ever heard before. Across from him, a tall alien with silver skin and 4 arms worked with what looked like crystalline bells. Try the melody again, Jun-ho said. But this time think about sadness. The alien, whose name was Zeth, touched its bells. Beautiful sounds filled the room, but they were cold and empty. I do not understand sadness the way you do, Zeth said. For my people, sadness is simple. We feel bad, then we fix the problem, then we feel good. Your human sadness is different. Jun-ho played a slow song on his guitar. The music was full of longing and pain, but also hope and beauty. Human sadness tells stories, Jun-ho explained. We feel sad about the past, worried about the future, and lonely in the present. All at the same time. That complexity creates the music. They had been working together for 3 months as part of the new cultural exchange program. Dr. Shin Era ran the program from a special station built between human and alien space. The idea was simple. Instead of trying to make contact safe for telepaths, they would find other ways for species to understand each other. At first, it had been frustrating. Aliens found human art confusing and chaotic. Humans found alien art boring and empty. But slowly, they were learning to combine their differences into something new. Let me try something, Jun-ho said. He played his sad guitar song again, but this time Zeth joined in with the crystal bells. The alien did not try to copy human sadness. Instead, it played its own simple, pure emotions alongside the complex human feelings. The result was amazing. The music had both complexity and clarity, both story and peace. It was something that neither human nor alien could have created alone. In another room, engineer Lee Sang-min worked with a team of alien technicians. They were building a new type of engine that could power ships across the galaxy faster than anything that existed before. The problem with our current engines, Lee explained to his alien partners, is that they think in straight lines, from point A to point B using the shortest path. The lead alien engineer, a floating jellyfish-like being called Korth, agreed. Efficiency is most important. Why would we want anything else? Because sometimes the shortest path is not the best path, Lee said. He showed them a human brain scan. Look how human thoughts move. We do not think in straight lines. We think in spirals, loops, and webs. What if we designed an engine that could think like that? The aliens were confused, but they trusted Lee enough to try his ideas. They built a small test engine that used multiple pathways instead of one direct route. The engine could change its path based on conditions, just like human thoughts changed based on emotions and circumstances. When they tested it, the engine was 30% faster than the best alien technology. How is this possible? Korth asked, amazed. Because flexibility is often more efficient than rigid planning, Lee said. Humans learned this because our minds are so complex. We had to find ways to coordinate chaos. Now we can use that knowledge to improve your technology. The biggest project was happening in the station's main laboratory. Dr. Han So-min led a team of both humans and aliens in creating something they called the narrative archive. The problem, Dr. Han explained to a group of visitors, is that human stories are too complex for most alien minds to handle directly. But stories are how humans understand everything. Without our stories, aliens can never really understand us. She gestured to a massive computer system that filled the entire room. So we are creating a library of human stories that aliens can access safely. They can experience pieces of human narrative without being overwhelmed. Velnara was part of the team. The crystal alien had become fascinated by human stories once it learned to access them safely. "Watch this," Velnara said to the visitors. It connected to the archive through a special interface that filtered the complexity. On a screen, they could see Velnara experiencing a simple human fairy tale about a princess and a dragon. "In my mind, this story is just facts," Velnara explained. "Princess trapped, dragon guards, hero rescues. But through the archive, I can feel some of the emotions humans attach to these facts. Hope, fear, love, courage. It is like seeing color for the first time." The visitors included diplomats from 12 different worlds. They had come to decide whether the cultural exchange program should continue. Ambassador Thekver seemed impressed but cautious. "These projects are interesting, but do they solve the fundamental problem? Humans are still too complex for direct telepathic contact." Dr. Shin Era stepped forward. "Actually, we think that might be changing." She led the group to another lab where Dr. Yoon Jiho was working with both human and alien volunteers. The humans were learning meditation techniques from alien telepaths. The aliens were learning to handle complexity gradually, like building up strength by lifting heavier weights. "Show them," Dr. Yoon said to his team. A human volunteer named Kim Min-ho sat across from a young alien telepath. Very carefully, with many safety measures, the alien touched Kim's mind for exactly 3 seconds. This time, nothing went wrong. The alien's skin flickered with colors, but it did not scream or collapse. Kim remained calm and peaceful. "How?" Ambassador Thekver asked. "Training," Dr. Yoon explained. "Kim has learned to quiet some of his mental complexity during contact. Not to eliminate it, but to organize it, like turning down the volume on a loud radio." "And the alien telepath?" Velnara asked. "Has been practicing with simple human emotions through the archive, building up tolerance gradually, like a person learning to eat spicy food by starting with just a little spice." The test had lasted only 3 seconds, but it was proof that safe contact might be possible with the right preparation. Later that day, the diplomats met to discuss what they had seen. The humans waited nervously for their decision. "What you have accomplished is impressive," Ambassador Thekvar said. "But we must ask, is it worth the effort? Why should the galaxy invest so much energy in accommodating human complexity?" Captain An Young-ho had recently arrived at the station. He commanded a small fleet of human ships that worked alongside alien vessels on exploration missions. "Because we find things you miss," An said simply. "Explain." And activated a star map showing a region of space that had puzzled aliens for centuries. "Your surveys of this area found nothing interesting. Stable stars, normal planets, no unusual energy readings." He changed the display to show human survey data of the same region. "But human scouts found 3 things your people missed. A gas cloud that could be turned into fuel, a planet with unique crystals that could improve your communication technology, and a star system where the gravity works differently, which could teach us new physics." "How did humans find these things when we could not?" asked a diplomat from the insect-like species. "Because human minds look for patterns that do not exist yet," Dr. Choi explained. She had joined the meeting by video link. "Alien minds are very good at seeing what is there. Human minds are good at seeing what could be there. We imagine possibilities that others miss. Ambassador Thekvar was quiet for a long time. Then he asked, "And you believe this justifies the risks and costs of integration?" "More than that," said Dr. Shin Era. "We believe the galaxy needs both types of minds to reach its full potential. Alien precision and human creativity. Alien peace and human growth. Simple minds and complex minds working together." The alien diplomats talked among themselves in their various languages. Finally, Ambassador Thekvar spoke for all of them. "We have decided to continue the cultural exchange program, but we want to expand it. Instead of just a few projects, we want to create permanent cooperation between human and alien communities." Captain Lee, who had been quiet during most of the meeting, smiled broadly. "What exactly are you proposing?" "Joint colonies, shared research stations, mixed crews on exploration ships. We want to learn if humans and aliens can truly live and work together long-term." Dr. Velnara's crystal skin glowed with happiness. "When I first touched a human mind, I thought I had discovered something terrible. Now I realize I discovered something wonderful. Humans carry the universe inside their thoughts. They are each a living galaxy of possibilities. And we have learned that the galaxy is bigger than we thought." Ambassador Thekvar added, "Big enough for both simple minds and complex minds. Both peace and growth, both harmony and story." The meeting ended with plans for the next phase of human-alien cooperation. It would not be easy, but both sides now believed it was possible. As the diplomats left, Dr. Han So-min looked out at the stars through the station's main window. "6 months ago, we thought first contact had failed," she said to her colleagues. "Now we are planning a future together." "What changed?" asked Dr. Yoon. "We stopped trying to make ourselves the same," Dr. Han replied, "and started learning to be different together." 2 years after the first disastrous contact, President Moon Jae-young stood before the Galactic Council. The Great Hall was filled with representatives from 300 different worlds. Some sat in chairs, others floated in energy fields, and a few hung from the ceiling like giant bats. Today, the Council would vote on whether humans could become full members of the galactic community. "Honored representatives," President Moon began. "2 years ago, our first meeting nearly ended in disaster. A simple telepathic contact broke one of your best minds, and almost broke relations between our species forever." In the front row, Velnara listened with interest. The crystal alien had become Earth's strongest supporter on the Council. Its skin glowed with soft blue light, a sign of happiness and hope. "Today I stand before you not to apologize for what happened, but to celebrate what we learned from it," Moon continued. "We discovered that consciousness is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be explored. And humans offer the galaxy a unique gift: the willingness to dive deep into that mystery and surface with insights that illuminate the darkness for everyone." Behind the president, a large screen showed images from the past 2 years. Human and alien scientists working together in laboratories, mixed crews exploring distant stars, art that combined human complexity with alien simplicity, cities where beings from different worlds lived side by side. Ambassador Thekvar rose to speak. "The Unity worlds have worked closely with humans for 24 months. I must report that every prediction about the dangers of human complexity has proven wrong." Murmurs filled the hall. Some aliens sounded surprised, others pleased. "Instead of chaos, we found innovation," Thekvar continued. "Human minds do not disrupt our peace. They expand our possibilities. The joint colony of New Harmony has become the most productive research center in this sector of the galaxy." Captain An Young-ho commanded the first mixed human-alien exploration ship, called Synthesis. The ship had discovered 6 new worlds and made contact with 2 previously unknown species. All because human intuition and alien logic worked together to find things neither could find alone. "Our exploration success rate has increased by 60%, Captain An reported to the Council. "Human crew members see patterns and possibilities that our scanners miss. Alien crew members provide the precision and focus needed to investigate those possibilities safely." Dr. Shin A-Ra had expanded the cultural exchange program into a full university. Students from 40 different worlds came to learn how different types of minds could work together. The most popular classes taught humans how to find peace in simplicity, and taught aliens how to find beauty in complexity. "Education is the bridge," Dr. Shin told the Council. "We do not try to make humans think like aliens or aliens think like humans. Instead, we teach both sides to appreciate and use their differences. One of the most successful graduates was Park Jun-ho, the human musician. His collaboration with alien artists had created the first truly trans-species art form. Their music was now played throughout the galaxy. Art is a universal language, Jun-ho said when he addressed the council, but it needs both simple and complex minds to speak all its words. Alien music gave my compositions clarity and focus. Human emotion gave alien music depth and story. Together we created something neither species could imagine alone. The narrative archive had become the galaxy's most valuable resource. Alien scientists used human stories to understand complex problem-solving. Human engineers learned precision and efficiency from alien thinking patterns. The archive now contained millions of stories from both human and alien cultures. Dr. Han So-min, who managed the archive, explained its importance. Stories are how humans process complexity. By sharing our stories with aliens in safe, filtered ways, we share our methods for handling chaos and finding meaning. This has revolutionized how the galaxy approaches difficult problems. But the most impressive speaker was Velnara itself. The crystal alien that had nearly died from touching a human mind now served as the galaxy's expert on human-alien relations. When I first touched Dr. Park So-young's mind, I experienced something that broke my understanding of consciousness, Velnara told the council. I felt the vast loneliness that drives human creativity. I felt the desperate need to connect that makes humans reach across the void between minds. The alien's crystal skin glowed brighter as it continued. At first this seemed like madness, but I have learned that this loneliness is not weakness. It is strength. Humans became complex because they had to build bridges between isolated minds. Now they teach us all how to build bridges. The council members listened with growing interest as Velnara described the past 2 years. Humans have made our medicine better by asking what-if questions we never thought to ask. They have improved our technology by imagining functions we never considered. They have enriched our culture by showing us that multiple perspectives can exist simultaneously, without conflict. But most importantly, Velnara said, they have taught us that consciousness itself can evolve. We thought simple minds were the highest form of mental development. Humans proved that complexity and harmony can coexist. They coordinate thousands of individual universes of meaning into working civilizations. Ambassador Zorth from the Collective Worlds raised a concern. But what about the safety issues? Can we guarantee that human mental complexity will not harm our telepathic species? Dr. Yoon Ji-ho stood to answer. We now have standard protocols for human telepath contact. Both species train together to make interactions safe. In the past year, we have conducted over 10,000 successful telepathic contacts between humans and various alien species. 0 accidents. The key, added Dr. Choi Hae-won, was learning that the problem was not human complexity itself, but the sudden, unprepared encounter with that complexity, like jumping into deep water instead of wading in gradually. Commander Kim Tae-min, now an expert in interspecies communication, described the new contact procedures. Human volunteers learned to organize their thoughts for telepathic contact, not to eliminate complexity, but to present it in manageable layers. Alien telepaths build up their tolerance gradually, like developing any other skill. The vote was scheduled for the end of the day, but first the council wanted to see a demonstration. Dr. Park So-young, the human who had nearly died in the first contact, volunteered to undergo a public telepathic session with Velnara. The great hall became silent as the two approached each other. So-young sat in a simple chair. Velnara extended one of its crystal tentacles toward her forehead. Are you ready? Velnara asked. Ready, So-young replied with a calm smile. The contact began. This time, instead of chaos, there was wonder. Velnara's skin glowed with beautiful colors that reflected the stories and emotions it found in So-young's mind. The alien experienced guided glimpses of human complexity, memories of childhood, dreams of the future, love for family, hopes for peace between species. After 30 seconds, they broke contact smoothly. Both human and alien appeared peaceful and happy. What did you experience? President Moon asked Velnara. Beauty, the crystal alien replied. Organized complexity, a mind like a vast library, with each story carefully catalogued but infinitely connected to all the others. I saw So-young's hopes for today's vote, Her memories of our first meeting, her dreams of humans and aliens exploring the galaxy together. All existing simultaneously, all creating meaning together. And you, Dr. Park? The president asked. I felt Velnara's clarity and purpose, So Young said. Like standing on a mountaintop and seeing the landscape spread out below in perfect detail. For a moment, I experienced the peace of simple, focused thought. It was beautiful. The council voted unanimously to grant humans full membership in the galactic community. But the real celebration came 6 months later, when the Starship Synthesis returned from its longest mission yet. Captain In Young Ho reported discovering something unprecedented. A region of space where the laws of physics worked differently, creating opportunities for faster-than-light travel that no one had imagined before. We found it because our human crew members asked impossible questions, and our alien crew members had the precision to test impossible answers, Captain Ann said. This discovery will change how the entire galaxy travels between stars. Admiral Song Hyunwoo officially launched the new Galactic Exploration Initiative, with mixed crews of humans and aliens exploring the most challenging regions of space. Humans and aliens together can go places that neither species could reach alone, he announced. Dr. Lim Young-soo, now elderly but still sharp, made the final observation that summed up everything they had learned. For thousands of years, species across the galaxy sought wisdom by simplifying consciousness. They tried to eliminate chaos and find perfect order. Humans took the opposite path. We embraced complexity and found meaning in the chaos itself. Now we see that both approaches are valuable. The galaxy needs simple minds for peace and complex minds for growth. Together we are becoming something greater than the sum of our parts. The story ended where it began, in a meeting room on a space station. But this time, humans and aliens sat together as equals, planning their next adventure among the stars. Velnara, whose broken experience with human consciousness had started everything.